I think we got levels. We got it now. All right, hang on. This is it.
Introducing Bonsaiology with Terry and George. Welcome. Maestro. Very nice technique. Ah, yes.
All right. So
Okay,
so we are going to do.
what are we gonna do?
This is the first video.
What's our debut?
Official. We decided. What did we decide to do? The song remains the same.
Sure.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do? Let's do something else first, because I know George will demonstrate the "Listen to This, Eddie" intro, which is one of the most powerful things I'd never heard before. 10 years ago, I stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
And I went back and listened to it 10,000 times in a row, like I did the scene in Kentucky Fried Movie, Catholic High School, Girls in Trouble. I think I played this, rewound it, and played it again more times than I did.
Of that, but,
remember Catholic High School?
I'll never get it out of my mind.
Squeak. All right.
Yes.
So then, what do you?
So you know what I think?
Yeah,
I think they were so stoked to play the Forum again in '77. You know, that Bonham just couldn't contain his enthusiasm
Let me
and
just
came out. Yeah, you need a. Oh, you need a stool.
I'll just sit right on this.
Here, get a stool.
Get a stool. Sample.
This is a sample.
Okay, give me a sample.
This is a sample. Stool sample.
This thing
for
looks
you.
like it's right out of Hayden Ashby. All right, so here's the deal. So, dude, look, you got you got to show everybody the proper clutch. Oh my God!
The stands aren't proper per se. They're old Tamas, but who cares?
You got the drums. You know what's funny though? They almost have that gull-wing Rogers thing.
Yeah, they're almost like Swivomatic.
Yeah, like the ones he used to use. Right. So here's and even this, man. That is too.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? It looks like this.
They were borrowing a lot from Rogers.
They're borrowing. All right, so here's the deal. Yeah, because Tom, look at their freaking lugs, man. Those look like Rogers lugs.
Right.
All right, so here's the deal. You got this drum kit. Did it come as all 4 pieces, the thermoglass?
No. I got these three pieces together. These are pretty much born together because the serial numbers are very close.
I've heard you.
1970 date stamped inside.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, I got the 1826.
Oh,
14.
Okay.
The 16 I got later. So yeah,
well, it's almost like Bonham himself.
It's kind of like the Zeppelin 2 session kit. Yeah.
Yes.
And then this I bought some years ago. It's mid-60s.
Mid-60s.
Yeah, Keystone badge.
6.5x14.
Yes. Slightly scratched, but
now listen, I'm going to tell you something. Right now, that your snare sound is coming across as that is if you took a teeny bit of the Vincent Ecorec off the drums in the hallway when they're doing When the Levee Breaks and sat a little closer to the drums, that snare drum sounds exactly the same.
No kidding. See, I don't really know because it sounds so different even when you stand up.
Well, it is. See, that's
you get a few feet away from a drum and it sounds very different.
Well, that's the thing. Like people, like the fact of the matter is the reason why we have sweet spots and stuff with drums is the cylinders. You want to be in front of the cylinders. You don't want to be perpendicular to the plane of the cylinder. You want to be more in the end. Okay, but so that's the deal. Seriously. So,
sounds right to me.
But it goes to show you that like Jimmy Page and great engineers realize there's like sweet spots in the room.
Yeah,
in fact, the room is almost like the effects pedals and amplifier of an electric guitar.
Right, which, you know, when you did that little video a couple weeks ago and you moved around, just even with the cell phone.
Right, I did that before.
Very different sounds. Like it started phasing and, you know, you just hear different things. Like I often thought, like the snare drum sound that you hear on the 77 tour is very different than earlier tours.
Because
I wonder if they're mixing more of the bottom mic in and you're getting more of this resonant head and the snare wires.
I personally think you're exactly right. Because you notice on Seattle, you know when he's doing the Moby Dick in Seattle?
Over the top.
Yeah. Over the top. That's like the monitor mix. And listen to how snary.
Right.
And it really kind of, if you weren't familiar with Bonham, how he originally did, like Song Remains the Same, when it had sort of like a natural reverberation stuff, it almost sounds campy a little and corny a little bit on the Seattle, even though it still sounds great. Like he does some of those sweet.
Well, you're not hearing the more full
You're not.
tone.
And I think that is a good evidence of our theorem.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So What else would you like to discuss?
Well,
before we go berserker on the song.
Yeah. Well, before the 77 song remains the same. So we were talking about that iconic recording.
Yes. Listen to this freaking
June 21st, 1977. Right. So I just think that that's probably one of the most altogether explosive versions of that tune ever. Well, everybody acknowledges that that's like
I'll tell you,
a gold standard.
I'll make a bold statement. You know what it is? That if he didn't start the show out with that, I think it kind of would maybe been, even though there's great other stuff on it, it wouldn't have been the boot. Like, it opened the door. It gave everybody just so much of a punch to the gut right when they first heard it.
Right.
That even if there was more marginal stuff later, it still would have been great.
Yeah, for sure. I think it created like
a
magic atmosphere anyway, because the crowd was just so amped up for their return.
Well,
you could hear it in the anticipation. Before the lights came up and they started playing, the crowd just goes nuts once they get on stage.
Well, now let me ask you this. Listen to this, Eddie. What night is it? The first night?
Yeah.
It is.
June 21st.
You let me know when you want to give it a whirl.
I'll give it a whirl now.
Okay, I'm going to get out of the way because I don't need to be a distraction.
You also don't need to have your eyebrows sheared off.
Ouch.
With the volume.
My caterpillars. All right.
Yeah, so that's the deal. I mean, he plays some incredible...
What date is it? Is it June 27th?
June 21st.
June 21st. Yeah. The solstice, possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that had something to do with it.
Stand an egg on itself.
The longest day of the year.
All right, swing it, Jackson.
Okay, so, it's like... The main thing there is that introduction.
Yes.
The shit that he plays on the introduction.
You did a hell of a job reproducing it.
Well,
you did.
Trying, but...
Yeah. You get nothing but massive compliments from people. Do you know why?
Why?
Because you're an actual, like, really good drummer. See, that's the cool thing. But that goes to show you, though, how good Bonham was. Because part of the thing is we're going to stress in our videos, is there's two things. Bonham was an incredible musician who doesn't get nearly the credit, because a lot of people get turned off in the short run, because they, almost like the mindset of like Stairway to Heaven in the guitar store, they hear even a little Zeppelin, like, I don't want to hear it. Bonham was a musician's musician.
Ignorance.
It is. But also, too, the way Bonham played and the way he switched beats around a little and certain fills he did with triplets and stuff, I think can be legitimately called an actual style of playing.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly as if you might call... bail me out here.
It's kind of like, to me, it's sort of like composition on the spot, too.
Exactly.
He's very much thinking, the compositional way. Because he plays with the actual melody and rhythms of the riffs. He doesn't just lay down the beat. And
do you know what is de facto evidence of that? When Bonham is in the studio, which you hear on the In Through the Outdoor stuff, and even on Whole Lotta Love, there's there's studio recordings where you hear Bonham go like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's actually in his mind and verbally
the grunting,
singing the melody.
Yeah. A lot of great drummers do that.
He's playing to the melody in his head. And Jimmy, the best drummer.
A lot of my heroes, at least. Elvin Jones, Art Blakey, guys like that, you always hear them grunting, groaning, kind of like referring to what they're playing.
Well, what that is too is what they are is Bonham then would be a true conductor, because the conductor hears it in his head, and the way he's moving, everybody is then creating what he hears in his head, time-wise, dynamics-wise. So Bonham is in effect a de facto conductor of Zeppelin, because he's playing really to it in his head. And Jones and Page are such good musicians; they play right to him because it is natural, beautiful.
Yeah, that's
perfect music.
That's a good
energy.
point.
It's just true.
Point. No, yeah.
Like I realized that.
You know, like so that introduction to me, I don't know if I've ever really heard him play that tune that way out of all the live recordings of it that I've heard.
Yeah.
You know, it changed over the years.
Yeah.
So like, you know, the original studio version, for example, is much simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you got well, let's see. Oh, so what about that? We should talk about that.
You should.
The rhythm. Where that falls on the beat, because for the longest time when I was really young and I was like,
we haven't talked about this. He's about to say exactly what I thought, and a lot of it right now.
Yeah, so you know how like when you hear that riff, I always heard the crash was beat 1, and I don't even want to try to think about it that way anymore. Once I learned the correct correct placement is. Then it gets hard to, you know.
Well, it's very much sort of like what I talk about in other videos, which we will talk about more.
Yeah, you have. So
is the misperception of time, the beginning of rock and roll, Misty Mountain Hop,
correct.
me, that little part in Sick Again you were doing, sort of switches
exactly.
out of nowhere. It's the same sort of
Sick Again is the same thing, because Sick Again is, if you count before the guitar riff, it's, you know, da na 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 na, da na 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 na, 2 3 and da da 2 3 4, 3 4. Right? So those hits come on the end of 4.
Exactly.
1 2 3 4. And you'll even hear it on hi-hat. You know, often you hear the hi-hat counting the time.
Oh, in almost every song.
So with Song Remains the Same, that hit comes on beat 4.
I think I have a booger.
Which is an odd. Not that I can see, but I'm sure you do.
A booger.
I'm sure you
do. There's
no
damn coke. Okay, no damn coke.
No, I couldn't see it.
Okay,
so check it out.
Okay.
So you got 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Right?
Yeah.
On Eddie, I think he hits a floor tom before. This is getting into minutia.
No, do it again. Let's do it.
So we're gonna nerd out.
This is, Professor Flutist carry on.
On the studio version, he just plays a single snare hit.
Yeah.
Right? He goes. Yes, Keating.
Now here's the deal, because what happens is we do have time constraints, and everything. This is so great, but there's other.
That's the studio version. It's very simple. All he does is he plays the beat. He doesn't play a whole lot of fills, right?
Not only here's it. Now there's 2 things you're gonna be glad I remembered this.
Okay.
One, you can hear all over the whole house is the holy, and around that time that you can tell that that's a pair of giant beat 15-inch hats.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, especially Zeppelin 4, Houses of the Holy. But 2, remember we talked about on Houses of the Holy, and even stuff that was the Stargroves-y era, that 71, 72, where we think Bonham, you can hear in recordings, a brass Supra.
Maybe, right.
Because of the sort of
There's a little bit
mushy,
more of a ring to it.
honky, ringy sound. For example, this song.
Yeah,
We also said
Dancing Days.
Totally Dancing Days. House of the Holy, perhaps.
Maybe.
I can think the grunge. It's possible.
Right.
The grunge could be possible.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe he was swapping them out.
Yeah. Keltner once said Jim Keltner once said that at an early tour he saw Bonham playing a Ludwig and Ludwig snare that had 2 lugs.
Oh.
And of course, we know that Jeff Ochiltree has mentioned that Bonham at one time did play what was probably early Black Beauties then in the late 70s, or just
so
the shells.
Cool, wouldn't it, to know for sure?
But some of those would be bronze. Remember that when Ludwig first came up to Black Beauty in the late 70s, they were bronze shells.
Right.
And they called them. Remember, bronze is copper and tin, and brass is copper and zinc. All right. So let's do this.
These are bronze.
Yeah, these are bronze. B8 Eller.
That's right.
Now listen. So where else can we go? So we did.
Okay,
what else?
so we're talking about this. I just want to say, like, so okay, the live '73 versions, like that tour.
Yeah.
Song Remains the Same soundtrack.
New York,
version.
July.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. The way he's playing that, he's got kind of like a. I think he sets it up symphony, right? Same beat up front. The difference between that and '77 is this double bass kind of skip,
which is a great John Bonham bass drum workout.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. So what is that? What is that? You just did it. It's a lot of left-hand ghosting going on.
Yeah,
on the upbeats.
Yeah.
So that's why I moved my hand off onto here.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a double stroke pattern between the right foot and the left hand, but there's accents, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then that's the difference, is he starts accenting this. So that's on the end of one.
Right. So your post note is E and the bass drum is anda.
Yes.
E anda.
Yes.
Boom boom. So I sometimes call that in my videos. It's a misnomer, but I thought something came up. The Bonham turnaround. Ba boom boom ba.
Oh yeah, that's what you call it.
Even though it's not really a turnaround, but that is so prevalent in Bonham's playing. And he inverts it, and it's all
he does it off in a Moby Dick when he's doing this. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah, you hear.
Well, it almost in a certain way, but it shows. And
is that Gallows Pole?
Yeah.
Hey man! Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the same.
Exactly.
That's basically the same idea.
Yeah. Is especially live playing.
There,
no quarter. In the fill into Stairway to Heaven live in '73 that they use on the record on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Ba boom ba boom boom ba ba boom ba 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 boom ba boom boom ba. He has like
that's it.
They're all over the place.
Somebody out there wanted to hear Stairway Live '73.
Oh no,
request for like the fills that he played.
Yes, we'll make a whole video on that.
Yeah, we got to address that because
there's so much to be done.
Okay, in a very quick nutshell, he plays this fill all the time. That's probably the most common one.
Oh my God, he does it all through the soundtrack.
Yeah, triplets. Yeah, but yeah, exactly.
He does it all through Stairway.
So after is that the one you're talking about?
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
but he does that.
So if you,
I have like 10 videos dedicated to it.
So just think about Gallows Pole when he comes in. You know.
Right.
basically
Yeah.
it, right? So if you do that here,
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing the action on the right hand, you're
Right.
now playing kind of a backbeat with the left hand.
Right.
Same beat.
Now there's a couple places, like in no quarter. Remember, he does that as they get toward the end of the solo.
Yeah.
As we get toward the ba 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 da ba 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 ba. He does little even.
Yes,
more
he
like-
does it. There, he's playing a double stroke on the
Yeah,
hi-hat with it.
but see, it's a paradigm that's
Hey,
all over Bonham
here's a
stuff.
cool little thing I just want to say.
Did it help?
There are times when I'm listening to, okay, so Herbie Hancock, Headhunters.
Right. Okay.
The great drummer Mike Clark.
Oh my
Mike
God!
Clark often plays.
I met him at the Chicago Drum Show.
No kidding.
Yeah,
really?
very nice guy.
Nice cat.
Yeah.
I would think so. He
Yeah.
seems very cool. There's a lot of
There's
Yeah.
that clip where he's
interviews
playing
with him
with
where
that bass player. He's doing like almost
Paul
like
Jackson.
Yeah, he's doing almost like
He's doing a lot of this kind of
do
stuff,
that.
right?
Just-
Yes.
He does
A
this
lot
thing-
of this like double stroke kind of funk
But-
grooves, but that's exactly what
Oh
Bonham
yeah,
is doing
right.
on,
It is
on,
exactly what's
at the end of No Quarter, like you're talking
and,
about.
and all over the drum.
Yeah, something like that.
No, totally.
Subject for another
All
time.
right, so let's move on a little in this song though. 'cause we gotta
So
keep
in
it
this song,
dedicated.
so okay, so
whichever
just
level
come
we
back
want to
around
leave
to
off,
this.
live or studio.
So just to come back around to this,
Okay.
when he comes in on the very introduction of that tune.